Hey, how's it going? I got another knife review here of Cold Steel Holdout 2. Cold Steel makes three models of the Holdout, the 1, 2, and 3. The 2 is in the middle at 4-inch blade. The Holdout 1 is a 6-inch blade that I believe is they don't make anymore or is out of stock or whatever. And then the Holdout 3 is a 3-inch blade. This is a knife that I acquired from Dan at BladeReviews.com or BladeReviews.com if you check out his website. He does awesome reviews, both written reviews as well as video reviews here on YouTube. One of my two favorite reviewers by far on YouTube. So quick shout out to him. He had a contest giveaway a couple weeks ago, and this is one that I won from replying on his website actually. So it was the first knife that I've ever won, so I was pretty cool, pretty stoked to get this knife from him. And for me, I've never purchased a Cold Steel before or traded for a Cold Steel. I think outside of the only one that actually has interested me was the Recon 1. But the one thing that's always held me back from getting that knife is the fact that it's AUS-8 steel. AUS-8 is I believe a Japanese steel, kind of their lower end cheap steel, probably on par with something like HCR 13 MOV or maybe like Sandvik steel that Kershaw tends to use a lot. It's just just a simple no frills stainless steel. This one in particular this Cold Steel is made in Taiwan, and I'm not sure if it's. I'm assuming it's not the same plant as say Spyderco and all that kind of stuff. But again, the fit and finish of this blade is pretty good. It's well centered and everything like that. But like I said in my review of the Tenacious, Tenacious being the perfect no frills knife with G10 and milled out stainless steel liners, stainless steel pocket clip, and liner lock, and the CR13 MOV steel. This is kind of the same idea. At $50 or so, you get G10 handles, you get this AUS-8 steel, and you get the triad lock, which I think is the main. To me, for Cold Steel, that would be the main selling feature. This is a knife lock that is pretty much impossible to fail, and that was the one thing that I was just studying about this knife, how it works out. You see this huge notch on the blade tang, and when you when you lock up that lock, that triad lock falls into there, and it's just makes for a very secure, very strong lock. All that pressure gets put on that little stop pin right there, and so it's near impossible to fail. And if you go on Cold Steel or look on YouTube, you got all those goofy videos of those guys throwing 500 pounds of weight on a clamped knife and just seeing how much pressure. And I mean, I guess it's somewhat telling. But yeah, so the triad lock is definitely the main selling feature to me for this knife. But other than that, when you compare this knife with some of the other ones, I mean, this is non-functional jimping on the top here. You have functional jimping on the bottom, but that's pretty much useless unless you're holding the handle upside down. Then my thumb really locks in. The G10 is very grippy as well, and it's definitely a pocket shredder when you stick it in there. Rides pretty low here for left-hand, right-hand carry, so the pocket clip is totally fine. G10 again is not lined with any stainless steel liners or no nested liners or anything like that. So that allows the knife to be really light at 4.2 ounces compared to the rest of these knives. They're pretty much all the same length, right around. This one's 9 inches, so the Spyderco is maybe a little bit longer. Everything else is pretty much about the same. Sebenza obviously is a little bit smaller with a smaller blade, but substantially lighter than all these other knives here. I'm not sure about the Emerson. The Emerson might be around upper 4 ounces. I know the Sebenza is about 4.7 ounces, and these are in the 5s. So, without the liners and all that kind of stuff, it definitely makes for a very light knife. This knife, one thing is there's no no real, I guess there's a little bit of protection. You know, if my finger is sitting there, there's enough steel here on the side or on the bottom of the tang to protect it from closing on my hand. But you know, with the spring of the Tri-Lock, this falls in really fast. So you got to be really careful to keep your fingers away from the handle when you're closing it. But you know, if you've played with knives enough, you know never to put your knives or your fingers in between there anyway. So you know, overall impressions of this knife, it's a cool knife. It's nice for reverse grip and all that kind of stuff. Basically, to me, it's kind of like a folding dagger. You know, but at the same time, you know, it's not a, I would say it should be like a tactical tool, but it's not a very quick tactical tool. It's very hard to flip out, you know, to open up, because that spring on the Tri-Lock is so tight. You know, it makes it really hard to open up, as opposed to the rest of these knives. You know, it's really, with the Spidey hole, it's very easy to flick out, you know, with one hand. Even the Sebenza with thumb pressure is pretty easy to flick out. Well, of course, I'm failing right now. The Emerson with the Wave definitely is very tactical. The Strider, all that kind of stuff. You know, the blade thickness on the holdout, I'm not sure what it is. I think it's probably around 0.125. Probably similar with the Sebenza, I think. But yeah, so overall impressions of the AUS-8. I'm not all that impressed. I did cut some boxes with it, and it dulled relatively quickly. I haven't sharpened it yet. I think it probably will still slice through some paper and stuff like that, but it definitely doesn't hold as well as, say, S30V or even 154CM. So yeah, anyway, that's my impressions of the holdout. Great knife for the price. Definitely one that I wouldn't pay for myself. So all the thanks and props to Dan at BladeReviews.com. Check out his site. He definitely has a lot of great reviews on a bunch of different knives. So anyway, so that's my review of the Cold Steel Holdout 2. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks. Bye.